Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back to the Outlaw Ranch. Last we left off, we got this tabletop sitting down. I showed y'all where it was bowed a little bit. I'm gonna have to order some countersunk bolts in order to kind of suck the center of that table down and see if I can't work some of the bow out. Yesterday afternoon, I ended up mounting my tubing notcher just kind of real quick. I don't have a center punch for punching the steel to make sure that the drill bits don't wander. So it was a little tough to get that done and get it done right. Everything is done. It's mounted. This deal pivots. The adjustment screw here actually does clear the tabletop after I use it's just a vise block. I used it as a spacer basically. So this is ready to go. First thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab some scrap steel and see if I can get all of this worked out. I'm trying to find some videos or some information. These kits come with a couple of washers and I'm not sure what their purpose is. So I am going to do a little bit of research, see if I can't figure out what those washers are for, or see if I can find the instructions. I've had this tool now for a while. I just never got it mounted. So we've got a little bit of research to do. Hopefully I can get this figured out and we'll come back when we get some work done. All right, folks, we've got this tubing notcher, I think, fairly well figured out. It's a good thing I kept this information. I just finished reading it. What they wanted was they wanted the bearings inside of this block here packed with grease. Because they're inside of here, it's a little tough to actually pack them. Some time ago, I went by my local O'Reilly's and I came across this Lucas. It's a red and tacky spray grease. And that has really come in kind of clutch here for being able to spray inside these bearings here. The other thing it had suggested was adding grease to both sides of the threads here so that we could remove this hole saw and that little arbor there easily. So I went ahead and did that as well. Everything is working out here pretty well. I should have probably looked to do this earlier so that I wasn't, trying to catch this up. But live and learn. I think we've got it pretty well dialed now. I am going to back this block off just a little bit and move it back just a little bit further so that once I get because you can see here, if I was to try and pull that back out this way, it wouldn't clear. So stand by. We're going to move this back just a little bit. We'll try notching this tube here and see if we can't get that notch to fit real nice on these subframes. Once we kind of get our practice piece here figured out, we'll come back, we'll chuck these pieces up here, we'll do a little measuring, and hopefully we can get this done first time out. So stand by, folks. Okay, folks, first thing I just learned here was that when I go to make this first notch here is that I need to bring that cut further in here, not so much on the edge. But as I usually like to do, I like to err on the side of caution and take as little out as possible, and then I can always take more out. That's what I've done. So we're going to line this back up, and you can see it there. We're going to take more out of it and see if we can't get that to look a little bit better. When I put it up against this tube, the top part here would line up well, but this was just too big of a gap. And if y'all will remember, I'm not a welder. So filling in large gaps is not something I'm good at. So it's a good thing we're practicing here with this first piece. We're going to get it figured out here, folks. Stand by. All right, folks, here's our next issue. The hole saw that I could find that would fit this arbor at my local Home Depot, this hole saw here is not deep enough to go all the way through when you start cutting these fine angles here. So what I think I'm going to have to do is pull this out, and then I'm going to have to probably make some cuts here and maybe here to remove this piece as cleanly as I can to finish this cut on this side. I'll look into if I can find a deeper hole saw. This was just what I had locally available to me. My mistake. They had deeper hole saws there. Unfortunately, the arbor came kind of welded on them. I think they were made by Diablo. And they wouldn't just simply unscrew and go to this because it was all one piece. So I'll look around tonight and see what I can find for deeper hole saws. It's a good thing I only spent like $15 or $16 on that hole saw, because this is going to be a real pain. Now what I could do is I could take this, rotate it around the opposite way, or take this tube and rotate it, 180 degrees. But I don't want to have to do that. This needs to be more of a permanent solution. So stand by, folks. I'm going to see if I can't cut this piece here out, and if I can finish the cut with this hole saw. Okay, folks, it looks like I'm at a standstill here. I tried taking the Sawzall and putting it in here just to cut these little tabs here so I could pull this piece out and then finish the cut with this. The problem is the stroke on the Sawzall won't allow it to clear in here. So then I thought, well, I'll get a cutoff wheel in the grinder. The problem with that is, once again, it does not fit in there without hitting the tool. So I would have to remove this tube, make these cuts, put the tube back in, line it up best I can, and continue pushing through with this. It can be done. I don't like that, because we open up a margin of error when we put this tube back in the notcher. So the best option right now is to look for hole saws that are deeper from the tooth to the bottom. When I was looking online, it looks like Rogue Fabrication has them. They make 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch deep hole saws. Now, a 2-inch hole saw would be just enough to cut through this if we were to go straight through, okay? The 3-inch hole saw, and they tell you on their website how many degrees you can still notch, which is good. I think I'm gonna, but the 3-inch hole saw with the 2-inch diameter here, they didn't have in stock. They didn't have them again until October. So it looks like I am going to have to order the 4-inch deep hole saws. That will allow me to make this cut in one pass at pretty much any angle I want, since I'm only using 2-inch tube. So this experiment, while it's not quite a total failure, we did learn more on setting this tool up, for one, and two, that it's a good thing this was only a $14 or $15 hole saw. Won't work. So I guess stand still again. I'll see if I can't get some of those hole saws ordered from Rogue Fabrication, and we'll go from there. One other thing that I think is puzzling me here is this arm looks like it's tilting down on that side. It doesn't look like it's square with the rest of that tool. I will go and grab a square and see if I can't figure out exactly what's going on. Maybe because, you know, this tabletop is arched this way. Maybe because that's going this way, this tool is actually canted that way. If that's the case, as long as this and this are still at 90 degrees, that's all we really care about. So I will look into that. But for right now, I think this is going to be the end of this video. We did a little learning. We didn't get anything done. But that seems to be the case with me in this channel. It's one step forward and two back always. So until next time, I'll catch up with y'all later. Hope you all have a great day. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. All of that stuff really does help, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.